and more tune for your head top. So watch how you speak on my name, you know?
Sheck Wes has been blowing up over the past couple of months. His song, Mo Bamba, is a big reason towards it, but specifically because it got a music video.
I got hoes calling a young nigga phone.
It took time, but now everyone is starting to sing along to the song. Once you hear,
Fuck, shit, yo, bitch, John Sheck Wes, really with your cat. See how I thought it, cause I'm really with the shit. See me in the streets and I be really with it.
you cannot help but jump along and yell towards the song.
Energy and humor, the two things that Sheck Wes does best with his music.
You travel for vacay, I travel for business. I got my little baby, but I got plenty women.
Sheck Wes may not be the lyrical god that is ascended from New York. He may not be the most experimental artist out there, and he may not be the best singer, but he does deliver character and personality far better than most artists do in the age where influence from metal and rock and roll is very large.
Although Mo Bamba is his largest song, I don't think it's his best. Although it does show you Sheck's personality, considering the song is based around his friend Mo Bamba and how he is an actual character that people enjoy to listen to. Mudboy shows us a larger picture into how Sheck Wes can compose his sound into a project while remaining quite concise throughout. Mudboy further reveals Sheck's ability to use his personality as a main component to deliver his mood. It does not take a large emotional stand, rather it values once again his humor and his energy while remaining quite fresh throughout the entire album.
While he may not be a spoken word poet, he does deliver his anger through his words with a song as a larger canvas for expressing his emotions.
Sure, this is nothing new to music, but nowadays it is very hard to be completely fresh given the landscape of how large music has grown. Sheck Wes is a young voice with one of the most interesting stories for someone as young as him. The entirety of his story is not for this video, but for certain moments that shed light to the Sheck Wes we hear now, from the Sheck Wes you hear about 2 years ago with the music that you can still find that he put out, such as LeBron James.
He is a gritty and raw artist that has become known for some of his ad-libs just as Travis Scott has. But given who he has been around as of late, does that mean that Sheck Wes is a star in the making?
Born in Harlem, New York in 1998, at the age of 5, his mother and himself moved to Milwaukee. Here is where he first started to mess around with music, joining a rap group and calling himself Kid Cudi, a due to Kid Cudi, who he has said was actually a large influence on his life. Milwaukee being a quite different than the fast-paced environment of New York, he would find himself living in the city once again at age 14. Sheck's life did not stop to move there because later in his teens, he went to go visit Africa, except his mother forced him into being stuck there for a year. These years of moving back and forth and being introduced to different cultures reveals the energy-induced mood that he brings into his music, especially with the New York blood that is within him. On Mudboy, Sheck follows through with his anger on songs like Mindfucker, Gmail, Wanted, and Venom and Socks. The production truly resembles a sound of dirty and grittiness, yet keeps the intensity up where Sheck is able to glow. Sheck Wes's humor is one of the more intriguing sides of his music. It is represented through songs like WSPN, Chippy Chippy, and Kyrie. With a song like Mo Bamba, it would be a shame to see Sheck steer clear of utilizing his obvious humor of a subject, and fortunately for us, he does not waste that opportunity.
You know I'm on a green team, boogers in my ear make them say bling bling. You know I'm the ball like I'm on TNT. Jason Tatum rookie, how I'm balling.
Using Mo Bamba, Kyrie, and even LeBron James earlier in his career shows the clear influence that basketball still holds on his life. Albeit, maybe he derives a subject from not the most spearheaded direction, but he does draw in some funny comparisons from these players into his own life, which stirs up some pretty interesting subjects for songs. While his flow may not vary on his songs a whole lot, it is his delivery and his energy that he brings that entertains the listeners as they listen. Ultimately, I do believe that his downfall in the near future could be this, which is his flow, if he does not decide to pick it up or change it. On Burn Slow, you can actually see him change the side and the flow that he gives, the delivery rather, and actually brings a rather entertaining side and a different side that you see from Sheck Wes.
But as much as the concise Sheck Wes is entertaining to listen to, it's not too long until it gets a little bit stale. Songs like Never Lost and Fuck Everybody display an artist still trying to experiment with his voice to only end up falling pretty flat. Never Lost features a melodic tone from Sheck that quite honestly sounded as if it was supposed to be some sort of gag relevant to his character. And with Fuck Everybody, it sounded as if Sheck was supposed to be screaming a majority of the same lyrics out of rage while he was in the studio, and then he kind of decided to add a softer verse just to balance the song out.
I think if Sheck Wes decided to experiment more with his voice and his sound, he'll discover a new kind of, I guess you would say, sound that's not only about energy and maybe bring a little bit more character and personality into his songs. He does have a great ear for production, which you can see on Mudboy actually made it kind of pop, if you will, because the overall sound sounded grimy and very loud. Where does he take himself from here? It's very hard to tell, but I do think that if he hops on bigger featured songs, that'll continue to bring him to a higher scale. Ultimately, we do see that he has a lot of potential to bring in the future. His, obviously, like I said, his production's great. His personality and his energy is amazing, which kind of carries his voice. But I don't want him to see him carry the same kind of sound over and over again, ride the same beat, have the same flow. If he switches it up, he can definitely, experiment with some things. Ultimately, who knows where to go? Is he underrated? Is he overrated? We don't know. What we do know is that Sheck Wes